What is up, everybody? Charlie here at JC3 Cards and Collectibles with our last installment for the week on our sports trading cards. That's right, we've made it through the baseball, the basketball, the football, the auto racing, and this time, me and my buddy Stu are going to be talking about what's left over. Miscellaneous Sports Bucket coming at you right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Good to see you again here at JC3 Cards and Collectibles. We are ready to run down our miscellaneous sports sales for the week. Not a whole lot to go through on this one, but we want to make sure we're sharing some of the odds and ends that we're selling as well. Me and Stu have been listing and shipping and listing. We talked about a lot of the attention on some of the new releases this week that really drove some baseball and F1 sales this week, but we've got a little odds and ends that carried over as well. It hasn't all been baseball and racing. We've got some other categories that have been selling as well. So why don't we jump in and take a look at those as I pull up that information. You can see our overall pie of sales this week. And again, you see that big chunks of baseball, football, and auto racing, a pretty sizable chunk of basketball. What we're talking about here today in this video is all those leftovers. So you see some MMA, some hockey, and some soccer out there. All together, that's about 9% of our sports sales this week. If we look at the overall numbers, a little bit smaller piece of the pie there. But good to see that we're continuing to have some sales in those channels as well. We're all about diversity here at JC3 Cards and Collectibles. We want to have some offerings for a lot of different channels, categories, I should say. So if you're a buyer that comes in for a baseball card, but you also like to look around some other sports, you've got some options there as well. Or if you just casually come across our store and some of our listings that eBay offers up out there, you'll have a chance to kind of see maybe some other categories of sports that you haven't looked at before. So to us, it's really important that we're diverse. I think baseball is always going to be at the heart of our listings, football as well. We have really grown into an auto racing store as well. But I like to keep working on basketball, MMA, hockey, soccer. Those are some categories, some sports that don't have a lot of yet, but we want to continue to build that up so that we have more diverse options for people who come to our store. So that's kind of what the breakdown looks like. Let's dive into the individual cards that we sold this week and give you an idea of what sold, how we listed them, and what they sold for. So there you have it. Not a huge list of cards this week in the miscellaneous bucket. We've got just 4 cards out there. Makes for a pretty even split in the miscellaneous bucket as well. So let's run through these real quick. First on the list, we've got a 1996-97 Upper Deck SPX die cut hollow of Joe Sakic of the Colorado Avalanche. I'm a little bit of a sucker for the holographic cards. They're tougher to take good images of to get that quality listing out there. I think I did a pretty good job with this one. You can see the full image. But gosh, you got to get the angle and the light just perfect to get a good quality image on these. But we were able to move this one this week for $2.70. We did go to a promoted listing on this. If you're familiar with our operations here at JC3 Card and Collectibles, you know that for the first 30 days, we will try to sell just about everything organically. But if it doesn't sell in the first 30 days, then we kick in some promotional opportunities, and we really let eBay do some of the selling for us. We really leverage their marketing tools and pay a little extra fee to eBay so that they get this card out to more people. In this case, that ended up in a sale of a holographic Joe Sakic card. So nice to see some hockey still moving. Up next, we've got a 2023 Panini Don Ross Optic UFC lighted up insert with George St. Pierre. That one's a little out of order on your screen. You'll see it on the right-hand side and kind of the middle of that row. Lighted up in cursive across the front. You've got the circles around George St. Pierre. It's a little off bluish green color. George St. Pierre, GSP, as he is known, was one of the greatest fighters in the days when I watched UFC on a regular basis. I believe he's a Hall of Famer, just an amazing athlete with an amazing set of skills in the octagon. I was able to sell this one this week for $2.02. That indicates that I had a little bit of negotiation on that because I wouldn't list a card for $2.02. And to the far right, if you can see through the StreamYard logo, you can see that that item was sold via seller-initiated offer. So seller reached out to me first with an offer, and we negotiated back and forth and ended up selling for $2.02. And then up next, we've got a 2022 Panini Donruss Optic UFC. If you're having to choose on some cards, the Optic lines are always a favorite out there in the hobby. I highly recommend them, especially as a low end seller. Optic is kind of the next tier of low end cards versus a regular paper base. So they're a little better quality, a little better images, a little better designs. But this one was Conor McGregor, and that is a My House insert. You can see that one right here. You got the black and red design behind him. We've got a cloud behind him, and the My House in bold black letterings. Conor's there with his flag. He's got the two belts. Always great when an athlete can take two belts at once, right? So Conor here sold for $3 even. That was also sold via promoted listing. So I paid a little extra in fees to move that after it didn't go in the first 30 days. But a nice little sale there on a Conor McGregor as well. And then finally, we've got our lone soccer card for the week. We've got Lionel Messi. I'm probably not pronouncing that right for you that are heavily into soccer. Lionel, I believe, is how it's possibly pronounced if you have the right regional dialect for that. But this is a 2023 International Trading Card Day. UFA, I think that's how you say that, UEFA, UFA. Trading card. There are quite a few of these out there. I actually hit on a box filled with a bunch of these, and I bought almost all of them at that card show. Messi is one of the GOATs of soccer. Right now he plays in Miami. He made the trip across the pond, and he joined a U.S. team now. That sold for $5.99 because he is a premium name. This card is a paper, base card. But because of that premium name, that sold for $5.99. So it really does pay to study your sport markets and know the names that are going to get you a premium, because those are the ones that you're going to be able to make a nice flip on if you can pick those up at a reasonable price and then get them listed in your store. So that is our 4 miscellaneous sport cards this week. Like I said, it was gonna be a short list today. That was certainly the case. Not a whole lot to show there, but I think it's important to show that diversity in the store and the types of things you can list. Gave you a few more examples of how we create our listings, the prices, the comps that some of these are going for in our store, so that you, if you want to list some of these as well, if it's something you want to get into, you've got some reference points to go after in your own store. So hope you enjoyed that. Just a quick vid of those miscellaneous sports. Up next, we're going to have one more video. We're going to go through our non-sport cards, and you should see a quick link right up here to jump to that video. Our non-sport cards, anything that doesn't fall into those sport channels. Until then, this is me and Stu saying,